It all started on a quiet Tuesday night. I was in my room. The house was still, and I was doing what I always did before sleep, saying a quiet prayer. I was halfway through a sentence, asking for a little bit of strength to get through a tough week at work, when a voice, soft and clear, answered right beside my ear. It said, "You don't need to ask for that anymore." I froze. My heart hammered against my ribs, but I tried to rationalize it. It had to be my imagination, right? Maybe I was just overtired, my own thoughts playing tricks on me. I took a deep breath, finished my prayer in silence, and tried to forget about it. But the next night, it happened again. I started to pray for a friend who was going through a hard time, and before I could even finish her name, the same gentle voice cut in with the exact same words. "You don't need to ask for that anymore." This time, I couldn't brush it off. It wasn't my imagination. The voice was real. Over the next few days, it became a pattern. I'd begin to pray, and the voice would finish my thoughts. It wasn't just completing my sentences anymore. It was answering questions I hadn't even spoken aloud. I'd think, "I hope traffic isn't too bad tomorrow." And the voice would whisper, "It won't be." I'd worry about a bill. And it would murmur, "It's already taken care of." Odd things started happening around the house. The lights would flicker softly, just for a second, almost like a gentle pulse of energy. A book might fall off a shelf, but it would land perfectly upright, not with a crash. Nothing was overtly scary or threatening. It was subtle, just enough to keep me constantly on edge. The feeling of being watched settled over me like a heavy blanket. It wasn't a malicious presence, not like something was waiting to harm me. It was more like I was being noticed, intensely. Every thought, every quiet worry, every silent plea was being catalogued by something I couldn't see. My friends started to notice a change in me. "You seem distracted," one of them said over coffee. "Like you're listening to a conversation no one else can hear." She was right. I was constantly waiting for the voice, my attention split between the world around me and the invisible entity that now occupied my space. I felt distant, isolated in my own strange reality. The loneliness was profound, even though I was technically never alone. The real turning point came a few weeks later. I was cleaning out a drawer in my desk, a drawer I rarely ever used, and I found a small stack of notepads. My handwriting was all over them, but I had absolutely no memory of writing any of it. They were filled with prayers, short, simple requests. One note said, "Please let my sister's job interview go well." Next to it, in the same handwriting, was the word answered, with a date, 2 days from now. Another note prayed for a last package to be found. It was also marked answered, with a date from the following week. My blood ran cold. I was looking at a ledger of my own future prayers, already resolved. That night, I sat on my bed, trembling, the notepad spread out before me. I didn't even have to start praying. The voice spoke, its tone still gentle, but now filled with a strange, ancient patience. "I'm not here to scare you," it said. "I'm here because you asked for this. A long time ago, you prayed you would never have to be alone again." And then I remembered, years ago, after a painful breakup, I had been in a very dark place. I remember whispering that exact prayer into my tear-soaked pillow, a desperate plea from a lonely heart. "Please, I don't want to be alone anymore." I had asked for a constant companion, and something had answered. Something had been with me ever since, silently watching, waiting, and answering prayers before I even knew I had them. I decided to test it. For 1 whole week, I stopped praying. I pushed every worried thought, every hopeful request, out of my mind. The house fell silent. The lights stopped flickering. The feeling of being watched vanished, and an entirely new kind of fear crept in. The silence was deafening. It was louder, more terrifying than the voice had ever been. The absence of the presence was a presence in itself, a vast, empty void where my constant companion used to be. I had gotten what I thought I wanted. I was alone again, and it was unbearable. Tonight, I'm sitting in the dark, the silence pressing in on me from all sides. I'm going to say one last prayer. I'm not asking for help, or for strength, or for any more answers. I'm just going to whisper a question into the emptiness. A question that has been haunting me more than the voice ever did. I need to know who or what has really been listening all this time.